Hello everyone and welcome to the 14th episode of the MMA Tape podcast. I want to thank you all for joining me today, and boy have we got the fucking episodes of all episodes. I think every MMA fan is fucking hyped right now. We've got the casual fans getting hyped, everyone's hyped because it is Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov for the lightweight belt this weekend. I am fucking pumped. I don't even want to talk about too much shit. Let's just break down these fights. But first, thank you all for tuning in. If you want to tweet me at the MMA Take, feel free to give me any of your preview and predictions and whatever you guys are feeling about the fight this weekend. Let me know. Tweet me there. We are fucking everywhere. We are on fucking Twitch, YouTube, fucking iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Player FM. We are fucking everywhere. So, without any further fucking ado, let's get this shit going. Holy fuck, and versus Conor fucking holy shit. I am so fucking excited. This is the fight that we've waited for. Now guys, just to let you guys know what the fuck's going on right now, it is Friday. I've done it on Friday on purpose. I'm hoping that this podcast will take long enough for the weigh-ins to be happening. The weigh-ins are going in right now live, not the fucking ceremonial ones, the ones happening in the morning. So this is gonna be, most of you are probably already gonna know if anyone's fucking pussied out or anything, but I hope that's not the situation. So I'll be flicking through my Twitter feed at the same fucking time, purely because I'm just begging to God that everyone makes weight. And by everyone, I just mean Khabib. I just want Khabib to make weight, really. I believe, I don't know what time it is now. I think the weigh-ins have only been happening for like, I think it's only been happening for like half an hour or so. I'm just trying to look. I know Felice Herrig has weighed in. Obviously, you know, the three people that everyone wants to weigh in, not the three people, so the four people that everyone really want to fucking weigh in is going to be, everyone wants the co-main event to go nice, and everyone wants, oh, maybe not. I am chatting unbelievable shit. Oh, maybe not. I'm getting a bit too excited. I saw something on Instagram this morning saying that everyone's already weighing in, but never mind. I have got it wrong. It is 5 o'clock in the UK that the weigh-ins are going to start. Fucking hell. Well, talk about a fucking shit show of a start. Never mind. Let's break this bitch down now. Right. Let's start with this fucking main event because holy shit. I don't even know what to say. It is weird though, isn't it? It's like you wait for this fight and you wait to break this fight down. You know, I've been watching tape on everyone, and obviously I'm pretty clued up anyway. But it's just gonna be. There's just so many unknowns. It's a case when it comes to Khabib and Conor where they are perfectly matched in every sense of the word. In terms of, you look at Khabib. What's Khabib good at? He's got brilliant ground game, but if you look at his weakest attribute, it's his striking. And when you look at Conor, his strongest attribute is striking, and his weakest is the ground game and wrestling. So, like I said, perfectly matched, and we've been looking for this fight. You know, how long has this fight been rumored for? I think November 12th. I'm just looking at like everyone's past fights, and UFC 205, where both of them fought at the same card, and there was a lot of bad blood then. I remember leading up to the weigh-ins, they confronting each other and everything, and that was November 12th, 2016. You know, the fight's going to take place, October 6th, 2018, so, you know, this has been a 2-year build-up, and maybe even longer than that. You know, even when Conor McGregor won the belt against Aldo, everyone was like, he's gonna go up next straight away. He's gonna be, you know, he'll be fighting in the 155-pound division, and when you look at the 155-pound division, everyone saw Khabib's name and went, that's the guy to beat Conor McGregor. And we finally, let's just, like I said, it's weigh-in day today. hopefully by the time everyone's listening to this and it's fucking already happened and everyone's right, and fucking Khabib and Conor are fine, and Pettis and Ferguson, everyone's waiting. I don't want this card to fall out, man. If this card fall out, it's just going to be the biggest kick in the fucking balls, man. Quickly, before I break down the fight, we had the press conference yesterday. That was pretty fucking weird. Just, obviously, fair play to Khabib, really. He's like, he said it while he was there. He's got a strict schedule to stick by. Thursday is known as the weight cutting day because the weigh-ins are 9 o'clock in the morning the next day. You really want to be very close or on weight when you go to bed, so that when you wake up in the morning for the weigh-ins at 9 a.m, you're ready to go, and you can hurry up, get yourself weighed in, and crack on with putting all that weight back on and eating, re-nourishing and shit. So I always find it weird that the UFC do it on that day. Really, to be fair, there isn't really much other else days to do it on. This fight week's a busy as fuck day anyway. With the media day and open workouts and shit. So, the UFC, the people in the main event and even the main card have to do quite a lot anyway. So, fair play to Khabib though. He's there for 15 minutes. He said, "This is all I'm gonna give it." I came here ready for the press conference start at 3 o'clock Pacific time or whatever it was in America, and that's just a sign of Khabib saying, "Fuck, am I playing by McGregor's rules? I'm the champion. We do as I fucking say. Well, let's just not have a fucking press conference." And fair play to him. He went out, answered some questions, and fucked off. And let's be honest. Everyone wanted them to go back and forth, and everyone wanted them to square off again. But the weigh-in days, or when your ceremonial weigh-ins, is always the best day for the face-off anyway. So that doesn't matter. And in terms of back and forth, does this fight need to get built up any more? Do we need any more back and forth between these two? I don't think so. We got it perfectly like 2 weeks ago, whenever that was in New York with that press conference. That was all we really needed then. It would have legit been the same shit said, just with fans in the background. So, there's that. Obviously a bit weird, but all fair play to Khabib. He just thought, nah, fuck this. Conor's known for coming late to these things, making people wait by his time. And it's the first time we've seen that challenge. So fair play to Khabib, and the whole mental warfare of this fight has just been such a big deal. And has anything that Conor said got to Khabib? And I can't tell with Khabib. He's one of the worst people to try and understand and read, man. He's just fucking, you can't really figure him out. But for someone who I've seen in a cage maul someone and talk to the person while they're mauling them, saying give up, and then talking to Dana White saying I'm gonna smash your boy, just like things like that. I don't think Khabib has to worry about the mental warfare. He's a motherfucking beast. So I don't think he's got anything to really worry about there. So yeah, enough about all this pre-fight. Let's talk about the actual fight now. I want to say I was thinking long and hard about this, and I'm going to take this in a biased... Oh, no, sorry, not a biased, a non-biased way anyway. If you talk to anyone, what everyone says is Khabib is going to take him down, wear him out, and then finish him in the later rounds. And it's hard to kind of not even deny with that. I wouldn't be surprised if this fight even goes the distance. Is it a case of, is Conor even ready to go the distance after having 2 years out of the MMA octagon against this gas tank of a man? Khabib's known for having an amazing cardio, and he's known for taking men into those later rounds and just getting decisions. And quickly let me look at his look at that. In terms of his win brackets, if you break them up, 8 TKO or KOs, 8 submissions, and 10 decisions. So, he's very comfortable going into later rounds, and he's got a brilliant gas tank anyway, which is just says it all, really, don't it? And then I do think that cardio is going to be a big part in this fight. we've seen it with Conor McGregor. It's just he can't help but getting gassed out in his fights. We've seen it in the Nate Diaz fights, in both of them. Even the one that he won, he was fucking shattered by the end of it. When he fought Floyd Mayweather in boxing, I know boxing and MMA is different, but at the end of the day, at the end of those, that, you know, towards the first few rounds of that fight, he was fucking dead. Conor has got a serious cardio issue. Why that is, I don't know. It's probably the power in his hands, you know. It's exerting a lot of energy, and he does go for the quick finishes in those first 2 rounds, and it is just Conor McGregor's way. He's just known for going in there in those first 2 rounds, just giving it his everything, and then just see what happens in the later third, and beg to God in that 4th and 5th round he catches some second wind, and he'll be alright. But it's a different story. Now, legit, I'm going to play it out. So I can definitely see Khabib standing up for the first round just to prove a point. We saw him stand up with Quinta and even Edson Barboza at times, and it just wasn't a good thing, obviously. And Khabib's striking is just scarily poor, but it is scarily poor, don't get me wrong, but I just feel to prove a point, he would stand up for that first round. He just needs to make sure that he doesn't get caught and maybe end the round with a takedown attempt, or even try and get that takedown. And it's, you know, when it comes to Khabib's takedowns, it's not even the normal double leg takedown. It's these weird sambo wrestling tactics of his where he just clutches onto one of your limbs and drags you down to the floor. It's not even a standard, you know, American high school wrestler double leg takedown. It's something so weird. He'll pick you off by your ankle and take you by there. He'll grab you back and fucking throw you into the air and fucking slam you onto the canvas. He just got so many weird takedowns that, to be fair, it's not really a traditional takedown that he'll be getting, that Conor will be trying to defend off. So, yeah, Khabib's going to take Conor down 100%. And I think, again, that's going to play into the cardio situation where, you know, getting taken down and trying to get back up and trying to use all that energy for this big guy just weighing on top of you, and he's going to try and get up and repeatedly get up, and it's going to take a lot of energy. But the thing is that in those first 2 rounds, Conor McGregor has the best and the most precise timing striking I've ever seen in the UFC. His striking is second to none, especially when it comes to timing. Just one that I want to go back to is the when he fought for the belt at 205 against Eddie Alvarez. The combinations that he was throwing, when Eddie had his guard, his guard up. Sorry, he had his hands up to block, and you know there'll be like a hook that would split that guard up, and the guard his arms would already be open for like 2 seconds, and Conor would slip a jab in, and legit his reactions, his timing, his speed is fucking. In terms of striking, Conor McGregor is a fucking master at it, do not get me wrong. And plus, you know, training for boxing for however long he did is going to help his hands. So, you know, helping your strongest asset, it's not going to exactly harm you too much when you're working on something you're already pretty fucking good at. It's only going to help. So, Conor McGregor just has that precise timing. And Khabib's chin, we've seen it tested a few times in the Quinta fight, and especially in that Michael Johnson fight. That's always the fight that people always look back to and go, Michael Johnson fucking caught him a few times and Khabib looked in trouble. You know, Quinta got him a few times. Barboza struggled a little bit. But even when you look at the RDA fight, it was in April 2014, so we're looking about 4 years ago, do not get me wrong. RDA is nowhere as good as a striker as he is now. You know, he moved over to where Bisping trains with what's Bisping's fucking trainer called? I can't remember the guy's name. He trains with fucking BJ Penn and Tito Ortiz and Chris Cyborg. I just can't remember the fucking guy's name off the top of my head now. I fucked it. But ever since RDA moved to that gym, his striking got way better, and he didn't move to that gym until about 2 years ago. I think either just before he moved up to 170 or when he moved up to 170. his striking just got a million times better. So I'm still trying to think of the coach's name. It's just fucking forget it. I've got to leave it. But yeah, so obviously everyone looks at the RDA fight when it happened in 2014 and go, well, Khabib was able to manage with it then, but that was just a different RDA. Everyone remembers RDA of now, where he's just this fucking striking masterclass, beating Robbie Lawler and all sorts. But nah, he really struggled in that fight. But yeah, so Michael Johnson caught Khabib a few times and it's wobbled him. Alo Quinto got him a few times and he didn't look in trouble, but he got him a few times. And if it was Conor McGregor hitting those punches with the left hand, it could be a different scenario. And the two scenarios I can always get in this fight is Khabib getting a win later on, tiring Conor out and then getting a win later on, or Conor McGregor knocking Khabib out in the first, one or two. Legit, they're the only two scenarios I can think of. Or Khabib by decision, but if Khabib doesn't put Conor McGregor away in those later rounds, I'll be very, very surprised, kind of flailing around. We've seen him flailing around on the floor before, and no matter how fucking Khabib gets a stoppage on the ground, whether it's TKO or submission, I'm pretty confident this fight won't go to the distance. Conor being tired in those last rounds, it'll be easy for Khabib to get a finish, and it's just easier for Conor to get the finish in the first two, especially if Khabib wants to prove a point and stand up for that first round. I legitimately feel, if I was Khabib, I would go hands fucking high as fuck up, charge straight at Conor and go for the takedown straight away. As soon as the bell rings for that first round, I would just go for the takedown. Why not? Just why not? But I feel like Khabib wants to prove a point in this one. This fight just feels different. This fight feels like, very much like a DC and John Jones. The hatred is just real, and both men want to prove points, and it is the two prime in the 155 division, and they're both in their prime. They're both just fucking masters of their class. Each, little classes of MMA, and it is going to be a fucking fun fight. But I am going to give you my final prediction now. And I've given you all these scenarios now for the past 10 minutes. But this is my prediction. I'm a big Conor McGregor fan, right? So obviously my heart is telling me Conor's going to get that stoppage in the first two. Don't get me wrong. And that's the fanboy in me saying it. That is the Conor dick rider in me saying that Conor McGregor is going to knock out Khabib in the first two. But my head is telling me a different thing. I legitimately see the fight going like this. And this is my honest prediction. It's my final prediction that we're moving on to co-main event. I see the fight going like Khabib standing up for that first round, and Khabib will get caught. Khabib won't get finished in the first round, but he'll get caught. And he'll be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I stood up for the first round. I've been a dick. I got caught. Fucking come round two. I'm taking this bitch down. Round two, as soon as that klaxon goes off, or whatever the fucking noise is, boom, Khabib goes straight for the takedown and mauls McGregor and waits his time. He's not going to finish him early. He's going to take his time. He wants to give him a beating. And I think Khabib will get the stoppage he will get the thing is, Khabib, he can get the finish in any way he wants. His submissions on the floor are just deadly. We saw that with the Kimura finish against Michael Johnson in UFC 205, and that Kimura was fucking horribly deep. But we've also seen him absolutely TKO the shit out of people on the floor too. I think he'll get the submission. I really do. Conor's not exactly known for a good submission defense. All of his 3 losses, I believe, are via submission. So I think Khabib will get the finish. Late 3rd or 4th round. Maybe this fight goes into the 5th, but if it does, Khabib was getting that. I think in the either in the 4th. I'm just gonna go with the 4th. The 4th feels right. It just does. Khabib stoppage via submission in the 4th round, but I can honestly see this fight going either way. I wouldn't want to bet on it for sure because there is just 2 scenarios and that just doesn't fucking make sense to me. So it'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see what happens. To be fair, I'll give you that. So yeah, there is the main event broken down, the biggest fight in fucking UFC history that will hopefully go down, and hopefully everything will happen and just Oh, fuck me, I'm excited for this fight. But you know what? The best thing about this card is that they haven't just given it top heavy. This card is actually legitimately stacked. For the rest of the main card now, I'm not going to go into too much detail like I just have, but we'll break it down fairly quickly. Michelle Watterson versus Felice Hellrig. Now this is pretty interesting. Both of these female competitors have kind of had like a very similar situation in their division where they keep getting beaten by the upper echelon, the top three in the division. If you look at Felice Hellrig, she was on an absolute tear. She beat Alexa Grasso, she beat Justine Kitts, who's a phenomenal fighter. She beat Courtney Casey, and then finally got her big shot against someone big, in the 115 pound division, the 115, the strawweight division. She got matched up with Karolina Kowalkiewicz, and Karolina Kowalkiewicz, I want to say, I remember the decision being a split decision, and everyone thinks split decisions are fucking unfair. Honestly, I didn't. I had Karolina winning it pretty convincingly. What do you want me to say? They gave it a split decision. It 100% wasn't a split decision, I'll tell you that for sure. But hey up. I remember, I'm getting confused. I know there's a few dodgy decisions in this fight, do not get me wrong, but I remember her definitely winning. In terms of my eyes, I think I remember having her winning every single round pretty convincingly, to be fair. So I'm pretty sure it was just a case of that was some fucking dodgy ass judging there for that to be a split. But yeah, so the thing with, and then Felice Hellrig, she's always struggling against those, the upper echelon, and pretty much the same with Michelle Watterson. She goes against Angela Magler, beats Paige Van Zandt, then goes against Rose Namajunas, who's the current fucking champion, and loses to her, and then goes against Tisha Torres, who's ranked like 3rd in the division. She's an absolute beast, loses to her, and then got her most recent win against Courtney Casey. So it is fair to say that both of these women are pretty much in the same position. Can pretty much deal with most people in there in the 115 pound division. But then as soon as it comes to that upper echelon, that upper top 4, top 3 competitors in the division, they struggle. Let's hope that whoever wins this fight can, go on and put some real emphasis on that division, because both of these women are phenomenal fighters. They really are. Although I think Michelle Watterson will actually win this fight. She's looking better and better with each fight. Even in the Rose loss, that was just a case of Rose being on the fucking top of her game. That was her going into beast mode before she went on and won the belt. I'm pretty sure she won the belt in the next fight. So that was that. Again, Tisha Torres, that went all the way down to a unanimous decision, and that was pretty much a back and forth fight. Don't get me wrong, Tisha Torres won the fight, but, Michelle Watterson looked pretty good in it. And then, she took some time off. She fights pretty much the same every year. Funny enough, if you look at her record says for her past 4 fights, it's December 16, April 17, December 17, April 18, and November 2018 now for not October, sorry, all over the place. But yeah, I think I can definitely see this fight going to the ground, and when it goes to the ground, Michelle Watterson just has some absolutely phenomenal submissions. One of Felice's, Felice kind of struggles with some submissions. She's pretty decent on the floor, but when it comes to Michelle Watterson, I feel like Michelle Watterson just has the edge there. And I can actually see her winning this via her famous rear naked choke. So yeah, I definitely see Michelle Watterson winning this fight via submission and hopefully, putting a real impact on the division. And this one's gonna be interesting. Next we have, God damn it, fucking Derek, number ranked 2. The second ranked heavyweight. I'm just messing up my words, and chill out. The second ranked heavyweight in the division versus the 5th. Both of these men are just fucking blitzed into the heavyweight division. We have Alexander Volkov versus Derek Lewis. Now, Derek Lewis obviously coming off of that weird fight with Ngannou where both of the men threw all of no punches. But you know what? Pretty much, if you look at Lewis's, most recent fights, it'll be his third fight in this year, which is just crazy, seeing that he's had all these injuries, with his back, and, he hasn't been exactly in the best. Not as in shape as in his body, but health-wise, he's had numerous injuries which have really hindered his performance in a few fights. He got the win against Marcin Tybura, and we thought, okay, he's back. And then, the Francis Ngannou fight was just so awkward, and I don't know what to say about that fight. But if there's one person I'm legit saying in the heavyweight division who's just an absolute monster, it is Alexander Volkov. Now, Alexander Volkov was former Bellator heavyweight champion. I'm sure he was Bellator champion. And he was just beasting and feasting in Bellator. Came to the UFC, beat Roy Nelson, beat Stefan Struve. Let me just say that again. Beat Roy Nelson, finished Stefan Struve, and finished Fabricio Werdum. This guy is on the up, and I think I'm a fucking big... This is going to hurt me to say. I'm a real big fan of Derek Lewis, but Alexander Volkov is just on such a fucking tear right now. His kickboxing ability is second to fucking none. Even his takedown defense is fucking phenomenal, and that's the only really way I can see Derek Lewis doing much in this fight is if he gets a takedown. I can't really see him landing a takedown. Fucking Volkov is just so fucking tall. He's 6'7", and what's Derek Lewis is what, 6'3", so 4 inches of reach is just shocking. And the combination he threw to knock out Fabricio Werdum in terms of Volkov, it was fucking phenomenal. And I think he finishes Derek Lewis, which is Derek Lewis is one of my faves, man. He's one of the best, just one of the best and funniest people to listen to and just pay attention to. He's a great fighter and everything, but Volkov is just phenomenal on his feet, and he really is taking it. When you just see those fighters and you're like, nah, they're on the up. No, nothing's going to stop these lads from taking over, and Alexander Volkov is the next one in that heavyweight division. I don't think there's much else for him to do bar beat second ranked Derek Lewis. Once he's second ranked, then who is there? Like, fucking, obviously Cormier is probably tied up with the whole Brock Lesnar fight in the heavyweight division, so he won't be taking the fight until Brock Lesnar. So, maybe even a Volkov versus fucking John Jones, maybe, if John Jones wants to come back to the heavyweight division. Fucking hell, I'd pay to watch that. That could headline a pay-per-view. Could legitimately headline a pay-per-view. That would be such a fucking fun fight. But yeah, so I've got Alexander Volkov finishing Black Beast. When, I have no idea, but he's definitely going to finish him. Volkov's gas tank's phenomenal, and Lewis is known for having terrible cardio, but Volkov in terms of his striking is just, it really is second to none. And the next fight on the card, we have Dominic Reyes versus OSP, and I don't really know who this Dominic Reyes lad is. He's fought 3 times in the UFC before. He's only 9-0. I really don't know if Ovin St. Pugh was meant to fight someone before and then this lad's jumped in. I don't really know at all. The names, the 3 fights that he's had in the UFC are unknowns. I don't recognise any of these lads. I can't even pronounce one of the or 2 of them, so I'm not even going to try. But yeah, I don't know much about this lad, to be fair. 6 of his fights he's won 9-0, 1 6-1 by TKO, 2 submissions, 1 decision. I don't, at this time, really at this point, OSP getting that big win over Tyson Pedro early in, was it June? Yeah, June time, so start of the summer. He got a submission win again. He needed that win after getting choked out by Lilia. I hate saying Latifi's now. I'm just gonna call Latifi now. It's just Latifi because his first name fucks me up. Yeah, fucking. OSP was on a tear, man. He submitted Lima, submitted Yushin Akami, TKO'd Corey Anderson, and then gets choked out by Latifi, and then, you know, gets a win back with against Tyson Pedro, Tyson Pedro's a phenomenal talent as well in this light heavyweight division. And I don't know much about this Reyes kid, but if I was to give you a prediction, I got OSP by submission. OSP is looking to bounce back. He's looking pretty good in terms of his submissions anyway. So, you know, he had a pretty weird 2016 and 2017. You know, 3 straight losses to John Jones, Jimmy Manuwa, and Volkan Ozdemir, and then obviously going on that tear. You know, mid 17 to late 17 with the 3 wins, and, you know, Yushin Akami and Corey Anderson and stuff. So I think OSP can win this fight by submission. Again, I just don't know much about the other cat to say much, to be fair. I feel pretty bad, but I just don't know who the fuck this kid is. And the last fight I'm going to break down, I can't wait for this fight. It's going to be pretty interesting. Tony Ferguson versus Showtime Pettis. Now, this is a fucking... You always just think about this fight and go, yeah, Khabib Conor. And you're like, fucking hell, we've also got Tony Ferguson versus Sergio Pettis, and it's fair to say that whoever wins this fight is probably next in line for the belt too. So, I don't really know what to begin with this fight. You know, first things first, you got Tony Ferguson coming off that absolutely weird injury that he had where he fell over the fucking thing and tore the muscles or the ligaments in his knee or some bullshit like that. And I just, this guy is just such a beast, you know, just fucking murdering people, you know. Danny Castillo, Abel Trejo. I got fucked up Trejo's last name. I can hear it in my name, in my head. I can't just say it out loud. You know, Josh Thompson, Edson Barboza, RDA, Kevin Lee. Tony Ferguson's a fucking monster. Absolute beast. But Anthony Pettis, man, you know, really had a up and down career, you know, very much up and down actually. You know, you look at some of the wins he's got on his fucking record and they're just fucking phenomenal fighters. You know, you look at a win against Danny Castillo, 2 wins over Benson Henderson, Jeremy Stevens, Joe Lozon, Cowboy Cerrone, Gilbert Mendez, you know, beating the likes of Charles Oliveira, Jim Miller and Michael Chiesa, you know. But they're all brilliant, you know, fighters ranked 15 to 6. As soon as he gets that top 5, and I want to talk about top 5, I'm talking top 5. I'm talking RDA, Eddie Alvarez, Edson Barboza, Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier. Pettis has struggled against every single one of these fellas. You know, he really has struggled against all of, and these are upper echelon. Like, you look at RDA, champion, Eddie Alvarez, champion, Edson Barboza, fucking monster, you know, always ranked 3rd or 2nd in the division. Max Holloway, current champion. Dustin Poirier looking the best he's ever looked recently. And, you know, it's also just a case of fucking, you know, Pettis, you know, moving up in weight class and just trying to get adjusted to this weight class. And, you know, he really was someone who peaked so early in his career, you know, got some amazing wins and was everywhere. He was the poster boy of the UFC for a specific time in the company's history. And then, you know, those 3 losses against absolute fucking monsters. You know, 2015, 2016 was pretty tough for Sergio Pettis. But, you know, if you look at his past 3 fights, you know, you got when he beat Jim Miller, you know, Jim Miller, old fighter, you know, looking at the end of his career, and then, you know, finally looked like he picked up some steam. Pettis, you know, beating Jim Miller, and then goes to fight Dustin Poirier, and Dustin Poirier just on the tear that he is, beats fucking Poirier, just runs through Pettis, and, you know, gets the win by a body triangle, and, you know, that was pretty fucking amazing to see. And then, you know, you got the whole Michael Chiesa fight, which happened recently, and, you know, he got the win via submission, and he looked really good in that fight. But Michael Chiesa's not there yet. You know, Tony Ferguson was fighting for belts. He was the champion. I'm sure he was the champion, actually. Yeah, he was the champion. Like, I just think in this later, like the past 2 years of Pettis' career, he's really struggled against the upper echelon. And when you talk about the upper echelon, you look at the names like RDA, Alvarez, Poirier, and Holloway, and who else is there is Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson's an absolute monster. He needs a point to prove after, fuffing the fight with Khabib and losing that fight. He still wants that fight with Khabib. So how better way to do it than prove a point before Khabib goes and fights his biggest fight? Go out there and absolutely tear through Anthony Pettis, and I think he'll probably get the knockout. I hope this doesn't. I think this will be a fun fight, to be fair. I think Pettis is going to bring it because he knows, he's knocking on the door of the belt, and if he doesn't win this then, he's in trouble. Ferguson being Ferguson, man, I can defo see this either being a submission, just because his submission's so good at the moment. Working with 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu with Eddie Bravo, and he can very much finish this fight. I think he will finish this fight, actually. I'm going to go with submission. Ferguson to win via submission. It'll be a fun fight, though. Nevertheless, and that is it. That is UFC 229, McGregor versus fucking Khabib. Holy shit, guys. I'm just going to end the podcast there because there's nothing else really worth talking about after, breaking down one of the best cards of the year. You got the biggest fight in the UFC's history to this date. And it just helps that there's an absolute stacked card. Just some other names that I'm going to throw out there. I like to do this when there's these big cards, like there's so many good fights. But just a couple of people to watch out for. Ryan LaFleur, he's the first fight of the night. There's only 11 fights, which is pretty interesting. It's weird. There's only 11. Normally there's like 15 to 13, but there's only 11 fights on this card. Definitely watch out for Ryan LaFleur. He's an absolute monster. He's got the first fight. Gray Maynard is fighting on this card. He's the second fight of the night. If you remember Yanit Kunitskaya, who recently fought Cyborg and got absolutely bitched, she's making her return to the octagon after that fight. Again, another lady who Cyborg absolutely mauled, Tonya Evans, coming back. And then to tip off the main event of the prelims, you've got Sergio Pettis versus José da Silva. That's going to be a brilliant fight in that division. Sergio Pettis is finally getting some steam in his division, in that 125-pound division. So he's looking pretty good. So that'll be the main event of the prelims. So there's some other fights to watch out for. But that is it for the 14th episode, I believe. Is 14th episode? 14th episode of the MMA Tech Podcast. Again, thank you for listening to me wherever you listen to on Twitch, YouTube, fucking Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever the fuck you listen to us. There's a lot of places. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Really, really appreciate it. And tweet me your predictions on at the MMA Take. All that's in the description of wherever you listen to this. You'll see it right there. Give me a follow and give me your predictions, and we can discuss it all next week. And next week's podcast will be pretty interesting. Finally breaking down this fucking crazy of a pay-per-view card. I just can't wait to break this down. I can't wait to watch it. I'm pretty sure everyone is just as excited as me. But thank you all for joining me, and I'll catch you all next time. Cheers.